Thank you for standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Greg and Spirit.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
All right, and Zara, you think Zara is our with inspiration for us all.
Hello. It's very short. So, the pains you feel are messengers. Listen to them.
Thank you, very powerful. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, thank you. And for those of you who were at the social this morning, we had a great time. So thank you for being there on the river. So I have any 50-50 cards. So does everybody have 50-50? So as who's selling them today? Is that Mary? Okay, so she still has some to sell?
20 left.
Okay, so if you can, she'll be walking around selling those, that would help. And I have here, we have a visiting Rotarian, and that is Tina Gottschall. Thank you for being here from the Wednesday Club. She's here and she'll give us an announcement, and then non-Rotarian guests. Do you want to introduce your guest, Judy? Robin. You look like you belong here, and that's why she didn't even think about it.
This is Robin Forbes. She is a teacher, art teacher, and she is a member of the Committee on Public Art and helps with the utility boxes downtown. Say hi to Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Yes, and I was on COPA as a liaison for a while, so I know Robin. She'd be a great addition to our club, just if you're thinking of that along that lines. All right, and we have some announcements. First of all, thank you, anybody who has brought in food. I don't know if we got an update, but we did. Okay. Oh, I'll let you give her update.
Over 350 pounds of food we've collected. Dennis DeCosta was in heaven last week when he got the first batch of it. Gonna be on the news next week in the morning show. Josephine will be there with Dennis to talk about it, and we're hoping to get it going in Grants Pass and working with Christy Rowe. So we're gonna get it over here. Thank you, thank you. Actually, really quick, the Wednesday Club wants to do a challenge with us. Roger Singer is on our board and he just called me yesterday. Yes, he did. But anyway, that's for later.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's what we wanted by keeping the poundage and have a competition. It all goes to their place. Another great Rotary moment that happened in this last week was $8,492 was transferred from our Rotary Foundation account into the Veterans Village account. Jan wanted to let us know about this. This money was left over from the County Village, and it's just been sitting there. And so we were waiting for the next great project to come along, which looks like Veterans Village is going to be a great project where it needs to go. So that money is just for the building of the village. We still have the grant, which will be towards planting trees for shade, which we will have the opportunity to do hopefully this spring. So that's exciting. And then I know we have an announcement, and I'm going to let Tina come up and give the announcement between bites. I love pizza day. I am here to formally invite you to a party, a Rotary party, and it's on the 9th of August. So get out your phones, put it on your calendar, and what it is, we're going to be out at Police Resort. I don't know who's heard the Reverberés, the beach band. Okay, they are going to be out there, and actually the drummer is in the Friday Club. So he is also a Rotarian. So their band's going to be out there. So when we heard that, we thought, oh, this will be fun. We could go out and support Debbie Thompson, who is also a Rotarian. So we rented a big house, and Nelson Mailer is having a dinner catered. So we will have something to eat, BYOB, and then we'll walk down, listen to the band, play cards, fellowship. and just have a good time getting to know each other a little better. I know a lot of you in the room. I have seen you or worked with you and we don't get any time just to kind of sit and catch up. And I think, with our club celebrating its 100th year, okay, and I'm gonna tell you, if you show up, you get a little prize celebrating our 100th year. So I'm just gonna give all the other clubs that are calling, and if you come, we're gonna send you away with a goodie. But we would just love to have you out there. You guys are amazing with everything that you do. And I just think that the more we build relationships, we are a stronger club if we all come together. And I know we've got a big project coming up that we'll be talking about later. And so we all need to, I think the better the relationship is, the better the project, and we're gonna have way more fun. Okay, so I hope I get to see you. It is, it's the food gets there about 4:30. The band plays from 5 till 8. And the house is just right. You'll be able to hear the music because it's really close. So, and then the parking, we're gonna kind of go out and find out how that is, but we will have either a shuttle or something. If you have to park down by the resort, we'll have a way to get you up the hill. So just, and then, Valerie, you have a sign-up sheet. And this will really help us. If you think you're gonna come, please sign up, get your phone number on there so we can reach out to you. And that'll help with the food count. Okay, so I hope we get to see you. And thank you, Valerie, for a moment.
No, that was great, and I think it would be sounds like a lot of fun, and I've heard great things about being at Police, and I haven't had a chance to go, so this will give me that chance to go. All right, Judy, you're up.
Okay, everybody, I think you read in Navigator that Art Along the Road is looking for some volunteers, and I have the sign-up sheet. I'm gonna pass it around today and again for the next several weeks, and it's really fun and right up my alley. You just have to sit there and kind of guide people around, and so you can invite a friend. It doesn't have to be a Rotary person, and I'll see you then.
Thank you. All righty, one more announcement, and that is for those of you who are board members. Gina asked that we have a stand-up board meeting at the end of this meeting because we have a couple checks that need to be approved. So at the end of the meeting, just hang around and we'll meet at this table, or maybe that table bigger. But we meet over there so we can get those taken care of. Then, without further ado, I'm going to introduce to your guests. Our guest today is Dana Pearce. She comes from the city of Grants Pass. I don't know if you had a chance to read the biography in the newsletter, but I was totally fascinated that she has a degree in cultural anthropology. I mean, it's just wonderful. Anyway, as well as an executive master's in business administration, because we know sometimes we have to work to make that living. So since moving to Grants Pass, she worked for 10 years as a case manager for people with disabilities. She worked 2 years for she operated a staffing company for 2 years, and she owned and operated a manufacturing and powder coating business for 10 years. So that was kind of interesting for me to know. I didn't know that about her. So she's been the economic development manager for the city of Grants Pass for nearly 3 years. And I will tell you that she was a blessing, because when she came, she's done a lot of wonderful things for the city. And she enjoys in her free time rafting on the wild and scenic road. I know she does that a lot with her family. So without further ado, here we go, Dana. Thank you, Valerie.
So I have a presentation.
And you can just let me go, yeah.
That sounds good. And I'm gonna rely on it, honestly. I'm gonna be looking at it too, so sorry about that. But so I'm here just to talk about economic development in Grants Pass. Let's switch to the next slide. And quick introduction. It's basically already been done. I've been living here in Grants Pass for 23 years. I married a local man that was born and raised here, and then the 10 years I spent in manufacturing and powder coating, that was his business. He continues to do that today. So that's part of my background. I have kind of a wide background, and it's, I think, important in economic development. You really have to understand a lot of the ecosystem that goes into economic development. So, this is just a really quick definition: programs, policies, and activities that seek to improve economic well-being, and quality of life. That's just a quick definition of economic development, but really it's about the people and where you're at, right? You're thinking about geography, and where we're located, it's gonna really be different for every community. So we have to look at where we're at, look at the resources we have, the people we have, and work with that to create a really robust economy here. So, next slide, please. And this is just generally speaking, I'm starting out with generally economic development. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with it, or, but at the same time, creating a baseline of sorts. So a lot of the work that has traditionally been done in economic development is focused on job creation, getting better, high quality jobs, and also building a skilled workforce. Additionally, we're always looking to retain and expand business, even attract new business here. That's going to help boost our economy and our base level of income. Things like a better quality of life, more productive use of property, promoting our community's assets, that's all going to contribute to that baseline. And just a more really general way of also looking at economic development is bringing money into the community. So outside money coming in, again, traditionally that's traded sector, that's going to be manufacturing. Somebody's producing something here and then selling it somewhere else. So that money comes here. And then tourism is another example of that, where that's outside money and it comes here. And once that comes into our economy here, that can circulate and help boost all of us. So again, that's traditionally what it is. We see nowadays there's a lot of overlap and interconnection between different types of businesses and different worlds of people. Even just attracting people to move here and live also helps boost our economy. So it's not just these two things, but that's kind of the baseline. Next slide. I put this in here because I really like it. It talks about an integrated ecosystem. So when you see at the top, the real foundation of economics is going to be your talent pool, your education, resources, entrepreneurs, and innovation. People that are creating something here is going to be really important for that foundation. Also, again, location, transportation, and infrastructure, so that we can get those products and services out. And then real estate and your quality of place. Again, it's where we're at. It's what we have here that makes us different, and that also supports how we grow. And then that just kind of goes, you can go around the circle. Having all of that base helps us with business development, marketing that, retaining and expanding, and then increasing that exporting and trade, which of course then has a strong impact on our job creation, increasing payroll and also capital investments, right? You have a business that's investing in this location, they're building a larger facility because they need that, and then they're adding people, and then that money that they earn goes to those people, and then again, it's secondarily spent in the community that helps use those other service type businesses. And then just keep going around. I mean, it leads to increased prosperity, of job opportunities, and just an increased standard of living. So this is the concept we're going for, to support economics here in Grants Pass. So locally, if we're just going to take a quick look, we used to be really focused on timbers. I mean, that's still a little bit the case, but it's not our primary sectors anymore. The top sectors here locally actually are private education and health services. That's our number one. Second is retail trade. Third is government. I know everybody's like, "Woo, I know it." No, but it's needed. And then leisure and hospitality is 4, but we still have manufacturing in our top 5. So that's really interesting and a good thing for our community. Some of the areas where we're really have to think about, and we are seeing growth, is in tourism. That's another piece that's over time hasn't been the primary, but is kind of shifting that direction. And focus on growing and expanding local businesses instead of, again, the general concept of economic development. Hey, let's land the big fish. We're going to go out, we're going to bring somebody in, and they're going to boost our economy. But we really have a lot of great small businesses here, small manufacturers, and we have a strong focus on trying to support them to grow here locally. And that supports our quality of place. It makes it better for us here to support who we have And also just to benefit from some of our natural beauty and resources and things like that. So some of the strengths, these are just all pictures because they love to see it visually. It's pretty awesome. But we have a beautiful area that we live in. The river, of course, is something that's really important to our community. And it leads to all kinds of outdoor recreation. We have added some new bike trails up at Dollar Mountain. That's an incredible asset for our community to attract tourism and also to improve quality of life for a lot of folks that live here. Of course, the river, the caves, healthy jet boats, those are all taking advantage of our natural beauty and resources. We also have a really strong support for our small businesses. So these examples up here really are, we have a small business toolkit. This is something the city develops to support businesses at whatever level they're coming in. It might be somebody that just moved here. It might be somebody that says, hey, I have an idea and I want to start a business. And it's just a first look at what are the things that I need. And it's a checklist. It's an easy way to do it. So we provide that to people. We also have a really great resource through our Chamber of Commerce where they do a business survey every 3 years. They're actually doing it this year. So they probably are looking for volunteers to help go out and interview those businesses. But it's a great survey. They've been doing it for many years, I'm just going to say. And what's great about that is that you have this data that you can look back at and see the trends, see what's happened over time with businesses. And it also targets red flags so we can figure out what is it that we need to do to better support our businesses. Great resource for business. So that's a strength I think we have. We also, just our location, again, we're right along the I-5 corridor at this intersection with Highway 199. It creates a good spot for us to be attracting people that maybe want to do logistics or some other sort of thing. We're connected we're connected into that transportation infrastructure. We also have a very beautiful downtown. It's attractive and fun and busy, so that's great, and a lot of wonderful public art, I must say too. So some of the challenges that we face are related to infrastructure. We have some outdated water plant, but thank goodness we just broke ground on the new one, so that's awesome. I think it's one of those things we have to stay on top of, and so it's a good thing the city's doing that. But again, it's outdated. It's at a point where it needs to be upgraded. We also have areas of the city that don't get services yet. So that extension of infrastructure is really important, but right now is kind of a challenge. One example in this image that looks like just land there, that's actually Spalding Industrial Park. And we have a lot of industrial land out that direction. Well, I should say some. That's also a bit of a limit. We don't have a ton like you would find out in White City and Medford. But there's really limited public infrastructure to those properties. So right now it's not what we call shovel ready for some business or manufacturer that wants to come in and say, hey, I'm going to produce something here. They would have to go through a lot of effort to get access to the water, sewer, the things that they need to make that operation work. So that's something we're working on. And in our department or division, we have submitted an application to the EDA to try and support funding of some sewer extension. And we're hopeful we would get that to help move this project forward. But that's a long-term vision, right? They've been actually looking at this for probably 30 years, so if we can make a little bit of progress and keep that moving, the hope is that we will attract more development there. I should say, we do have a great development happening right now. Magazine Exchange is one of our companies, and they're expanding. They're building a gigantic facility out there, and it's pretty exciting. I say gigantic. It's pretty big for most of our buildings that we have, but it's going to open up industrial space for other small manufacturers as well. So that's even though it's a challenge, we are seeing progress, and I think that's a good thing. Other challenges, of course, empty storefronts downtown or maybe underutilized properties. I did put the Redwoods Hotel in there, something that we, it sticks out as something that is really could be an opportunity for us, but it sits vacant. Of course, lack of affordable housing or even market rate housing, that's a challenge. If you bring in workers, they need a place to live, and we see that as a problem with our homeless population as well. So there's just some challenges.
Also, even just aging or migrating workers, right? So our young folks, they graduate from high school and then they migrate somewhere else to work instead of staying here and growing the local economy. And then I did put in a childcare thing there too. You know, lack of childcare is also kind of a challenge for us right now. We're what we call a childcare desert. And so we just, without that resource for young families, it's hard for someone to get to work, right? To go and to earn money and then to improve their livelihood, you know? Okay, I think we're good. So a big piece of how we do the work that we do is through partnerships. We have a lot of amazing partnerships in the Valley. And here's just a long list of them, but I'll throw them out there. It's, you know, Roe Community College's Small Business Development Center. They're a resource for small business. Of course, our Grants Pass and Josephine County Chamber of Commerce. They're out there supporting business and advocating for business every day. We also, for workforce, we have Workforce Partnership and Workforce Rogue Valley. They're going to support workers and also employers that are trying to either upskill their employees or even hiring. They do a whole variety of things. Southern Oregon Regional Economic Development, they're like our regional economic development entity. And then Business Oregon is our state economic development entity. So like I said, we have this really strong network of folks that are supporting growth for our community. Yeah, I guess we'll have so some of the resources actually that the city provides to business are different incentives. And we have various programs. Typically it's focused on capital investment, right? So you're a business and you have a property that needs some sort of upgrade or needs to, we have a building facade grant. We have other grants that are for fire suppression, other things like that, that would help that business better operate, be more safe, those kinds of things. But so we have a variety of those grants, but Business Oregon also offers state and federal type grants, or actually the federal access is really through So Ready, but we can use those different partners as a resource to help bring money here to support those businesses. We also have an urban renewal area, and I actually have a couple slides on that. So if you guys want to know more about that, I can go in detail, or we can bypass them. But it's kind of an interesting resource. It's actually a tool that can be used in different communities, and our community does have one. It's a way that money gets invested back into blighted buildings. So if we have spaces that are run down or lack infrastructure, things like that, that money can go back in. And then Oregon Main Street, we now have a downtown Main Street Grants Pass, and they're a downtown organization that just started up, but they have ways that they can also bring some of those incentives and resources to support our downtown. As far as industrial development, I do a lot of work with So Ready to go out and talk to businesses, find out what their needs are, and try and connect them to the resources that they need. And so we do that through various groups. And we also have an industrial lands group here that Valerie participates in. And we have several folks that do. We have a real strong interest in supporting those industrial lands, identifying those properties that need to be site ready so that we can prepare them, market them, attract people and business. And then another cool resource that is just recently received 2 more years of funding is a Southern Oregon Innovation Hub. This is a group that is focused very strongly on supporting entrepreneurs and innovators. So that kind of generation of people, it's actually a wide variety of people. Some people have been in business forever, but they have another idea and they want to figure out how do I take this to market? How do I develop it? But that group is supporting that right here in Grants Pass. And it's actually kind of an exciting thing for our community because we're pretty well known around the valley for the entrepreneur work that's happening right now. Okay, so this is about urban renewal. Do you guys want to know more about urban renewal? Or are you like, I'll try and be quick about it. I think it's kind of an interesting thing. The whole purpose is really to help the city with poorly developed land and with or underdeveloped, or again blighted. That term blighted is basically like when you see something that's really run down and out of use. It's something that we want to try and make look nicer for people that are coming to visit, but also to put it into use. We want it to be active. So it's really a tool that we can use in the city is really looking at, it's a public-private partnership sort of deal. So of course, private people are paying into the tax base for this, but those taxes can then be given back to those properties that are actively trying to improve their property. Some of the goals that are related to that are just, the focus is really economic development and employment, really trying to bring in more jobs, grow our community. But it's important that there's public involvement that's focused on redevelopment and development. So looking at properties that could even, like I said, be redeveloped, something that isn't functioning now, but could be doing a better job. Fiscal responsibility, and then housing assistance, which we all know housing is a big deal. And then in that plan, it's actually a plan, it's a 30-year plan that's been established. There's 17 capital projects that are in that plan. These are kind of the general focuses of those 17 improvement projects. It's public infrastructure, community and tourism assets. So we're looking at our parks and our downtown and that kind of thing. Business property incentives, and then developer incentives. So looking kind of at different angles on how do we support those groups. And then we also did establish a 5-year implementation strategy that focused on specific projects. So the water treatment plant is number one. There that is funding is coming from urban renewal to support that. Also the Owl Lot Plaza. I don't know if you guys have heard much about that, but the Owl parking lot, it's this kind of centrally located in downtown, is going to become a plaza. We're hoping to break ground later this fall, maybe midwinter. We'll see. And then other kind of catalytic housing projects, some sort of catalyst project. If you can imagine, I'm just going to throw out another city like Bend. You know, you've got the Mill District. You know, everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. We can do something like that with these funds. We can create a catalytic project that's going to really change the feel and the look of what's happening here in Grants Pass. So that's the target for the council, for the urban renewal agency. And then of course, supporting grant and loan programs to give back to those properties. So, and then this is all, again, generally speaking about economic development. I'm going to hone in a little bit on what we do in our division in downtown. So we do operate the Downtown Welcome Center. That's kind of the face of the city for guests, for visitors. And so, so we operate that. We facilitate downtown merchant meetings. We've helped support that startup of the Main Street, and we'll continue to collaborate with them as they kind of take over some of the role of supporting our downtown merchants. We're also a partner with Visit Grants Pass, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but they're basically like our marketing contractor. The city contracts with Visit Grants Pass to market the city, to attract tourism and attract people. We also administer the various art programs, so Art in Motion program and the utility art box, as well as a liaison for Committee on Public Art. So we have a committee on public art that assesses different projects that the city might want to do, and so we help support that and help try and find ways to fund it and that sort of thing. And this is where I say thank you to the Road Gateway Rotary for supporting the utility art box project. We are so excited right now where it's out for RFP, and we're going to be doing 4 new boxes in this round. Or it's 4 right now, actually, in the RFP. That's how it went out. But we do have funding for more, so it should be just fine. But again, thank you guys for that contribution. It's making a difference for this program, and we'll just, by doing that, we'll be able to just continue. We have completed 12 boxes. This will be a 16, that's halfway. We have, I think, 32, 33 maybe to do. So we're making progress. So we also host events too. The city events come out of the Economic Development Division. So that's 4th of July event, that is Art Along the Road, and the tree lighting. And this is my shameless plug for Art Along the Road. So if you guys would like to sign up to volunteer, please do. The sign up sheet is going around. It's coming up soon. It should be a great event. Our theme this year is time warp when past meets future. So we're going to see a lot of mashups happening between futuristic stuff and stuff from the past. And that's it. I'm done. So this is my contact. If you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer right now. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Dana. Great information, and like I said, I've been involved in this all the way through, and I was laughing at when you were talking about Spalding, because those things take for, and we were really excited after our 9 years to get the water treatment plant going, and you should drive out to see that what is starting to happen out of Spalding. And what I've learned through my time is that what we really need to do is truly support our local businesses and grow them. Because everybody's kind of waiting for that spaceship to come into town, and suddenly some big employer is going to drop down in Grants Pass, Oregon, and open something, and that didn't happen. We've waited for it and waited for it. So really, like the business exchange was a really small business that was in Spalding, and they just kept growing and growing, and they went to a bigger building, and now they're building an even bigger building. An example, Rentec, they started small and they've grown. And of course, we mourn Travis leaving, but you can kind of see what can happen if you really support small businesses in your town. So with that, another thing I wanted to ask about, an example up in Washington, that land, I know in the last year I was on city council, the city actually purchased with urban renewal money that it used to be the old hospital on Washington. Has anything come from that, or where are we on that?
Yeah, we're starting a process right now. It's going to be a community focused process, but we are hiring a consultant that's going to start that process for us to identify what's going to happen with that property. I know when the council made the purchase that they were looking at potentially high density residential and or a mixed use sort of project. So mixed use would be commercial downstairs and then living quarters upstairs. So those are some options, to be honest, because urban renewal has very limited high density residential properties. That's one of the only areas that does. So it could be a really good opportunity to put in an apartment complex that is actually not affordable, well, not low income, but they're really looking more at market rate. So you can imagine traveling nurses, police officers, firemen, these folks that really need space to be. They maybe don't always want to have a ton of land to be, dealing with. So it would be a good opportunity for something like that. But at the same time, it's really going to be open to community conversation. Those folks that live around there that are neighbors to that property, they're going to want to have a say in what's happening there. So
The urban renewal funds,
okay.
are they, like you said, the city bought property with them? Are they open to anybody? Is there a lot of money there to be grabbed? Do they divvy it up every year instead of just saving it up? Or those kind of questions?
Yeah, there is a lot to it. It is essentially a taxing district, so there is a boundary, and in that boundary, your property has to be located in that boundary to receive any funds from urban renewal. But there's a variety of things. Right now, there's quite a bit of money needing to be distributed, but there is access through our urban renewal grant program. We have a program that's designed. It covers 4 different the projects that fall in the urban renewal plan. So depending on what you're needing, we could review it together if there's something specific. But that funding is it's typically going to go to capital improvements of some kind. It's not for operations or other things like that. It's going to be specific to improvements to a property. But again, also the plan is kind of what directs where those monies go. So it's likely it does have to fall into one of those projects in the plan in order to access it and use it. I was gonna try and think of an example too. So I'll give a quick example of supporting infrastructure. So last year, the Urban Renewal Agency gave a grant to Home Bridging because they were gonna do a development on the north end of town, or they are doing a development on the north end of town. But in order to make that development, they had to put in a large chunk of infrastructure to access that property. Well, they agreed to put in the right amount of infrastructure to also serve a much wider acreage beyond that. And so they were granted some funds to support that, putting that infrastructure in. So that's an example.
I'm always used to hearing about economic development, people bringing in money, like with tourism, manufacturing, all that.
Yeah.
I've heard you guys do anything about preventing kind of the outflow of money, because I feel like there's a lot of things. The first thing that pops to mind, a lot of professions, especially medical, it feels like everybody's always going to Medford for various medical specialists and other types of technical things. I mean, is that something you can focus on as well?
Yeah, I think that really falls under the retention piece, like working with local businesses to try and either keep them here or find out, hey, is there a way you can expand this service so that doesn't have to leave here, it can stay. So there's work that we do for that as well, yeah.
I have a question about the urban renewal grant. So with, for instance, Josephine County Food Bank, leases the property from the city.
Mhm.
We have a building on there that we would love to turn into a kitchen facility, so then we can then process food that's from restaurants, but then we can redistribute. Are we eligible to apply for a grant like that?
Not even for urban renewal specifically, because you're not located in the urban renewal boundary, but yeah. I could do a quick general description of it. It really is mostly, it's all of our industrial land is included in it, and then the 6th and 7th Street corridor, most of our commercial properties along there, and then a little bit out on Redwood Highway, but that's really the extent of the urban renewal boundary. But I can, show you that. Did you have another question? I didn't know. Okay.
Is the city as excited as we are about our new library?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
I tell you,
We're in the boundary.
oh, yes, yes. And so, I know, I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but we are so excited. And here's why. I love what you said about we're not just trying to romance those big companies. We're taking care of the businesses that are already here. And I used to be the liaison for the small businesses downtown for the city way back in another life. And where the new library is going is in a part of our downtown that gets very neglected. The businesses there, when I was there, they didn't even know there was someone that was advocating for that. Because they're not hardly even considered inside the central business district. So do you believe that the library being there is going to create a bigger boundary for what's considered downtown?
Absolutely. And actually, the Main Street Grants Pass, they also establish a boundary in order to create their entity. And they've extended their boundary of downtown all the way to the river. So that is included in what the vision for the future is for Grants Pass. Something I think it's kind of exciting where the library is at, and even a little bit further down, we are seeing development. We're seeing, the old Bank of America building, now the Riverway. There's been some incredible improvements, and we expect to see tenants in there by September. So that's exciting. And then there's several other properties that are doing the same thing, that they're improving their properties. They've been purchased by new people, so they're making updates. So and even the Elks Lodge, it's sat vacant for a very long time, and we all know that Horny Goat now is moving down there. So, those sorts of things. Oh, some people didn't know. Okay, that's bad. But ultimately, we're seeing, like I said, a migration, or we're seeing some of those improvements happening outside of what we would consider the, historic district, the central business district, what's right downtown. So it's exciting.
I don't know if this is the right place, but I'm just wondering if any grocery stores or anything are coming into town, especially the north end. Starbucks is there now, and not that I'm a proponent of Starbucks or anything. I'm not advocating either way, but just something more up there north.
Yeah, I do think that's, I appreciate that. That's something that we're looking at regularly, trying to really identify, how do we get a grocery store on that? And we used to, I mean, years ago. But it's definitely, I'm glad to hear that you also believe it's a need, that supports the work that I do, so I can continue to press for something like that. Okay, great.
Oh,
I see.
Oh, no, that's just my hand, sorry.
Yes.
So I have a question about the Owl Plaza.
Yeah.
Is the parking in that parking lot going to go away then?
No, the design of it is actually gonna be, what's the word I'm looking for? There, it's convertible. So it will, on a day-to-day basis, still be a parking lot, but it will be able to be shut down for events. So they're gonna have bollards that can shut down the street. They're also gonna change the look of it. So it's gonna look a lot more like a plaza. It's gonna be cobblestone, and it's gonna be curbless. So it's just, they're actually gonna raise the street there. So it's all just one flat space. But on a regular basis, it'll mostly just still be a parking lot, but it can have the ability to transform into an event space.
I was actually gonna just add to that. One of the first things I did was the Owl parking lot. 9 years ago, when they came in and they had all of the committees choose the lighting. Well, that was 9 years ago. And so what a waste of time that was. So here we are 9 years later. But I will say, for those of you out in the Southwest who are right now seeing all the construction going out there, that is part of what has held it up. Is they have to bring a new water sewer pipe all the way from the river, all the way up to Travis's property, the Caveman Plaza. And so they didn't really want to do that and do the plaza until that was complete. And they are working on that as we speak. So that's why we're hoping end of fall, probably after this year's Art and Grove, it will be functioning and up and running for next year. So yeah, those things take a lot of time. And on your question about Washington, I think when I was on the council, that was one of the things that we as a council talked about. If you could get some sort of a grocery store and then up above housing, that would be awesome, because the Northwest really does need some sort of grocery store. So those are our hopes, but unfortunately, it won't be there tomorrow. It won't be there next year. It'll be just maybe 9 years from now. That's our government works. Well, thank you, Dana. Any other questions before we move on? I do appreciate it. Yes, thank you very much. And I'm gonna take a minute, because I was gonna do this earlier, and I need to take a look at this piece of thing and going, what in the heck is that thing up there for? Well, one of the things for August is building our committees and making sure that they're functioning and they're working. So I said that I would just kind of do it steps at a time. And so I just kind of took some very beginning committees. These are the committees that kind of just function with us socially. We've got the engagement committee, which I can take a look and see who's on some of these now. I was told that some people weren't aware they were on some of these committees, so it's not a bad idea to kind of go over what we have. So yeah, so that's what my goal is. I'm not sure I can find that committee now. Oh, here it is. So committee members, I know Bev Walker is the chairperson, always looking for somebody, and Debbie Amin, who's not here right now, is on that, as well as Dawn, Doug, and Jim. So those are the people we have on the engagement committee. Mary, no, that wasn't that. No, the first ones were engagement, Dawn, Debbie Amin, myself, and Mary. I know those two people because Mary is on it with us. And basically what they do is when you get a new member, you're kind of the welcoming committee. And so you have, tell them about Rotary, tell them what it's like, tell them a little bit about their red badge and blue badge, and kind of hype it up and that sort of thing. So that basically the role is to bring more people into our Rotary, because we do such wonderful things, and to kind of help them move from red badge to blue badge. So that's what the engagement committee does. So that's one of the committees that we have. Anything you want to add to that, Bev? Because I slaughtered it.
I was probably supposed to send you the
Yeah,
newest list, and I didn't. So I would rather do this next week if I'm gonna, describe the committee, but I might even have it right here.
And this will be here, I'll have this here, so I don't expect everybody to run up and sign up. So this is kind of my thing, is to just put it out there with them and for you to think about what you might to do. And I actually have some little sticky notes in my car that I didn't bring in too, so you can talk
Yeah,
about next.
yeah,
week.
next week, I might have a committee listed in the folder over there, but I'll.
And that's great, and it's the same thing with the social and fireside, because I don't know who's on that committee, and I was missing a page, so I just thought, I'm gonna jump on the ball, and Bev can help me out, because she knows I'm just right on it here. So we'll get it to you, but the fireside to social was kind of this morning. It puts something together every month, so we can get together socially, because we don't always get the chance to talk. I told you I was gonna shake it up a little bit, so we had a morning one here. I know there's a couple people here who really want to go bowling, so sometime this year we are going to go bowling, just to let you know. So we're just kind of doing different things to bring people different in a different environment. Our program administration, which just met, last night before, that was the night before. And we talked about presentations, Dana coming. What can we bring in that is of interest to you to keep you, interested in what's going on? So we can always use new ideas. So even if you're not on that committee, you're welcome to give ideas. And so we'll put the people, I know the people that were at the meeting. Dawn is in the charge person. Judy was there. I was there. Jim Huber couldn't make it. Lutz was there. So, those, I think, and Kelly, you couldn't be there. But anyways, those are the people. So I'll have the names. I just had some time today between the morning and this afternoon. So I just put this together. And then, of course, the tech support committee that is doing an awesome job, by the way, and making sure of who's on there, who wants to be on there, who doesn't want to be on there anymore, so that we can make sure that we have a system up and running. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the side. And I found this great thing, and I thought, well, that's kind of cool. We can just kind of do that. But today I just wanted to introduce what I will be doing and just saying, okay, we've got engagement, social fireside program, and tech. Those are kind of having to do with what's going on here. I will show some other committees that we have, and next time we'll have the names, and so those people can say, oh yeah, I knew I was on that committee. I want to stay on that committee, or is this, that sort of thing. So that's what August is all about. August is all about building up your infrastructure, which is the behind the scenes stuff that happens that you don't always see here. So we'll be working on that. So with that, today our Sergeant of Arms is my dear friend Kelly. So come on up.
I'm gonna have like maybe 5 minutes. So, they'll just have to be my timer. What I wanted to talk to you all about today were vacations, because that's what we do in the summer, if we're lucky. But then I started thinking about what kind of vacation are we talking about? So I immediately went to the dark side and thought the worst vacation that you've ever had. And I bet you that's some are coming to mind. Am I right? Okay, so I wrote a few down, and then we don't have much time today, but maybe I can get a couple of them. From the Bahamas. This wasn't me, I'm quoting here. I was on a pleasant vacation to the Bahamas when I decided that I wanted to get a massage because I'd been in the ocean a little too long and my back began to ache. Then I thought that it'd be pretty good to go to the hotel spa to get that done, because it had 4.7 stars on Google. So I ended up having to leave mid-massage and hiding in my room for the rest of the week because the masseuse started licking my foot. I couldn't resist that one. Here's one from the country of Wales. I thought it would be a great idea to take a ferry from Wales to Dublin and then back just to save a few bucks. Well, what I wasn't counting on was the wind. No one told me how bad the wind was going to be, making the water so rough. So I spent 3.5 hours on the floor trying not to throw up as we violently swayed in the Irish Sea. See, that would have been me. Okay. I liked this one too. these are quotes you realize. My first time flying, I was just petrified. I met the pilot and I told him I was kind of scared. So his first announcement, the pilot's first announcement when he came on, oh, we have a new flyer on board today, and don't worry, it's my first time too. Yeah. And here's another light story. We hit some turbulence and a ventriloquist's dummy fell out of that overhead compartment and started rolling down the cabin floor. And people thought that it was a person, a little child, because it was in a suit and it had a little bow tie, and people were freaking out, which I would have probably been too for other reasons, like Stephen King ideas. And so, one more, I was on a plane that was almost empty, but this guy decided to sleep in the middle row. This happened to me. And he took off his shoes. I cannot describe the smell. I wanted to scream. Oh, and the ETA, 12 hours. Yeah. So I was going to ask some of you what your wonderfully worst vacation experience. Oh, Johnny's got one. All right.
When I taught at Rural Community College, we took a bunch of students over to Hawaii, and we were gonna be camping in various spots. And we did not prepare ourselves for rain. And we got to this, I can't remember the names of the various islands, but we got to the state park, it rained. And we found some shelter, but then we went around to the dry side of Big Island, where they only get 5 inches of rain a year. They got it all that night. My wife and I spent the night in the men's restroom.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, we have time for one more. And then we gotta go to 50-50.
That's fun. Okay, I'm gonna tell you a story because I just told this to the Wednesday Club. When you were talking about bad vacation stories. Okay, I used to own a powder barn for like 40 years. I noticed all you guys, I recognize a lot of people. And you probably remember Debbie, the little server who's still there. I see lots of heads. Well, her and I decided to go on vacation together. And so we decided we were gonna go someplace warm and we were gonna take a cruise. So we went, and this was when the technology was very new. We decided we wanted to get spray tans. And so we sure did. We went downtown, right over here where the new library is going. And we got this spray tan, and we looked like Malibu Barbies. We were just so pleased with ourselves. So the first night on the cruise, we decided, okay, we're gonna go into the hot tub. Oh no. And we got into the hot tub, and we were with Blaylocks were with us. If anyone knows Terrell and Ruth Blaylock, and Ruth, she's sitting across the hot tub, and Deb and I are on the same side. And she goes, "What is that?" And we're like, "I don't know." And we see this slick, and it's brown. It's not looking good. And we're like, "Oh, that's just awful." And we go to get up, and our tan is completely gone. It's just from here up, now we Barbie. Here, Eskimo. It was the most embarrassing thing, but it was worse the next day when we had to walk by with the workers. They had emptied the tub. We didn't even wear shorts. So that's the whole trip.
That's a good one. Okay, all right, we gotta do our 50-50 at this point. Oh, I'm sorry, Happy Bucks, right, before that. Do we have any Happy Bucks? Sad Bucks?
I do really fast. First, I'm not gonna tell you about the camping trip my dad made my mom go on when we were kids. She was from New York City and she refused to sleep outside. And so it was not that fun. But I want to say to all of you who admired my earrings today, all of you, that these were created by Ashley DeVal. And if you would like to purchase earrings, she has really beautiful earrings over there with that precious baby. And I'm gonna give some Happy Bucks for that. Nice.
Happy Bucks for surviving the worst vacation possible.
Yeah.
I actually have 33 Happy Bucks. It's tomorrow is Julie and I's 33rd anniversary. This is the period when you start, it's just a fraction of a century at this point, it's a third of a century. It's just-
And to just let you know what a small world it is, Julie's mother taught with Val and myself at Lincoln for many years, Kathy Eastwood. Yeah, she's a treasure.
I just wanted to let you guys know there's garlic in that cardboard box back there that Doug wanted me to hand out, so.
Any other happy bucks, sad bucks, survival bucks?
Well, I'm going on a big adventure, coming up that I don't wanna talk about, because then I'm afraid of, something negative is gonna happen, so I have a big vacation coming with my family, so I'm just gonna leave it there, but I'm happy about the upcoming vacation. I wanted to thank Dana for being here. I mean, it was great to see and to know, and, one of the things that we are, Doug and I are kind of promoting, and Daniela, who's up there on Zoom, is, trying to get involved with some of these people, some of these entrepreneurs, and seeing what we can do to kind of help them. Next week, I won't have my dog to take the doggy date time at 9:30 on Wednesday, which is when that contribution is. So I'm gonna try to go down there and see and meet the group. So, yeah, that's something for our future that I'm looking forward to. So thank you for kind of introducing that for us.
Okay, any other happy bucks, sad bucks? Then let's move on to 50-50. So who's got the deck?
There's a deck right there.
I've got the deck. I got the deck. Who's got the deck? All right, so. Any card. Ooh, not that one. Just his. Whatever. And she has, King of Clubs. Where's Lisa Looney? Oh, you got it. Yay! All right, Val, back to you.
All right, so once again, we'll have more to come on the committees down through August. Thank you for being here. It's been wonderful to see you all. It was special to see Robin and Tina as well. And Robin, we'd love to have you join our Rotary. It's a great group of people who do some awesome things. You got some awesome things coming down there from front, which is one thing I am also going to put together, I think, for the end of September, just before our on the road. We do a cleanup on the highway. And so I'm going to try to organize that again. I think I'm going to try to aim for September 30th, which is a Saturday morning, so we can get out there and clean up the road. So that's coming as well. And with that, I'm just going to give the thought for the day. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Winston Churchill. Have a great day. Board members, make sure we meet over here at this table with that beautiful baby so we can get some